Thank you so much for staying with us. All Angles continues. I'm Dion Jax Miller, and we are talking about women in music against the background of Coffee's historic Grammy win. Before we go back to our guest, though, Kelisha Williams was looking a little bit more closely at Coffee and the Reggae Grammy.
The 19-year-old reggae artiste Coffee, whose given name is Michaela Simpson, captured the hearts of many Jamaicans. And a lot to toast for on Sunday night.
And the Grammy goes to Rapture, Coffee.
Rapture, Coffee's first EP, which has only 5 tracks, came out on top of other talents like Sly and Robbie, Roots and Radiacs, Julian Marley, Steel Pulse, and Third World.
I'd first like to thank all the producers and everyone who helped to make Rapture what it is today. I'd like to pay my respect to Julian Marley, Steel Pulse, Sly and Robbie, Morgan Heritage, for all the input that they've made in the reggae industry and in the music. I've learned a lot from them and from other older people in the industry, and that's why I'm here. That's what brought us all here. So I just want to say that this one is for all of us. This one is for reggae. This one is for Jamaica. Thank you very much. Blessings.
In a zone, alter to baritone. Soon them say it's a queen upon the throne.
Prophecy or not, something was brewing in Coffee's mind. The newcomer who debuted in 2017 is the youngest person and first woman to win the Reggae Grammy. Reggae group Black Uhuru was the first winner in 1984 with the album Anthem. But over the years, voters have been criticized for being biased towards the famous Marleys. The family holds 13 wins in the category, with Ziggy Marley alone winning 7 times. In December 2016, veteran reggae singer Freddie McGregor lashed out in what one Gleaner writer described as the most blistering attack on the committee to date. According to the Gleaner, Mr. McGregor said, "When we allow non-Jamaicans to be the judge of our own Jamaican music, we have certainly lost it, and the Reggae Grammy is officially a toy and a plaything for the West Coast of the United States."
I know everybody got the keys, but me have it in my seat. If Caesar want for Caesar, give the youth my feature. What I going to Jamaica?
So, with Coffee getting her feature and creating history, what does this mean for the industry? Kelisha Williams for All Angles.
Thank you so much, Kelisha. And I'm going to start with that whole issue of Coffee's image, because it has been a talking point. We've heard so often that women in music have to dress sexy, they have to show off their body, they have to, look a certain way, and then here comes Coffee. Let me ask you first, Jamila, as a young artist, do you feel constrained in terms of what your image has to be, what you have to look like?
Not at all. I've heard that you have to look a particular way, you have to lose weight, you have to do all of them some bag of things, but to be honest with you, what my brand even stands for is just being myself, and that's whatever I want to be, whenever I want to be it. So whether that appeals to whomever, and if it resonates with whomever, the first person that's supposed to be comfortable is me.
But if they said to you, my girl, sister, you'd get how much more click and how much more views if you show a little more skin?
Well, make them do it. I mean, I don't necessarily care about the clicks and all of them something there.
You know, make money.
I have to change. I do hear what makes money, but it is, again, 2020. For example, a coffee. We're talking about her right now.
But is Coffee perhaps the exception that proves the rule? In other words, she's a one in a kind.
You're talking about in Jamaica?
If what?
You're talking about in Jamaica or internationally?
Let's start with Jamaica.
Well, I mean, this is a perfect example then, I'd say.
Okay.
Right, because, for example, people like faith, the people say sex sells. No, sir? And I don't see Coffee selling sex, and she literally just won a Grammy. What does that say?
So that she's an
She's an exception. That is why people are drawn to her, because she stepped outside of what we are used to. Says no, she widened the game now. So I feel more inspired or confident to do my own thing, because someone saw me the other day and be like, if you want the reggae, you have to go grow back the side of your hair. And I'm like, why? And so like, reggae artists not normally cut off them hair. A man think that, man. I say, all right, watch and see. So just stay true to your own thing. And I don't nobody try to change you.
I know I've heard Stacia say, speaking publicly, say, if you turn up dress a certain way, then say, where you going at that?
All right.
Hey.
So if we're talking about no, but oh yeah, we're talking about Coffee and her image. Tell me 2 or 3 more females where not remember. We also need to think about her age. So her dressing is age appropriate. You understand? Just coming out of high school, you don't really expect her to dress raunchy, and then you just say she too much or she force right. But maybe like 14, 15 years ago when I just entered the scene, I was a teenager too. And I was dressing more like I love sweatsuits and I like to be comfortable. I was really hardcore. And then they must say, no, my girl, you have to sexy up the thing. And then you realize that
so
they
why you listen to them? Yeah, we have 2 young artists saying them no business.
Yeah, because now they have social media that they can do their own marketing. But then I have to be listening to what my managers and the people who are advising them are advising me of. And you figure if you don't listen to your ear, so you just come and you want, you don't want to take telling. You understand? Now you have your own social media, you market yourself your own way.
No,
it's not
like,
cool
to
to do
be
certain
honest.
things. But all right, another thing is that when I really wanted to lock my hair years ago, and my managers were against it, because they're saying, you're not a reggae artist, you're a dancehall artist. So having locks speaks, they are expecting you to come with a certain kind of lyrics. So you have to stay within that zone. So you can't have locks and do quote-unquote raunchy things. But Sizzla is a Rastaman and all the Sizzla sang them conscious. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. So I finally did it now. But it's like as females, you are supposed to have a certain image, a certain standard. When a man can turn up to a stage show in a jeans and a T-shirt and it's cool, if me turn up in a jeans and a T-shirt, I'm going to say, lad, she couldn't put like an effort. They want to see the glitz, the glam. They want to see at least some curves. So you have something sparkly, something catch them, something well-fitting. It matters. It makes a difference.
I mean, if you understand what your brand stands for, like literally, and if you understand your target market, for example, right? I feel like a lot of that have to play with everything, right? You said T-shirt and jeans a while ago, right? I'm sure that a whole heap of shows, because we're talking about Coffee right now, and literally she's I wouldn't even say I'm an exception.
She's an exception to the
rule. A
rule,
literal,
definitely.
perfect example.
And the lyrics that she sings.
Because you can see her on a stage when you see her in a T-shirt, jeans, right? No matter, I don't, like literally, I can picture her right now, and probably them see pictures wherever. You see T-shirt and jeans. I don't think I've ever seen Coffee in like a
all right, but again, we're talking about Coffee, but coming out before we had the Coffee to look up to, I have Patra. I have maybe Lady G probably wouldn't be out there as much in your face with the nudity, but you have Patra, you have Lady Sa, you have Maka Diamond, you have like Shelly Thunder, she's still in her little shot. That's the image. That's the dancehall I started listening to growing up, and that's the visuals that I got.
The one thing we need to not forget in this conversation is that Coffee is an exception to that rule at this moment. And there's a reason why Coffee has become so big immediately. It's almost immediate rise, right? It's because our fans are not only in Jamaica. She's appealing to an audience. I was shocked. I was in Dubai watching Coffee on stage, and people know our songs, right? These were not Jamaicans that were in the audience. In Dubai, these were Arab women and men. And that, for me, is quite fascinating because it means that she's been able to cut across a number of generations, a number of demographics in terms of just different countries. And that's also because of social media. You can then appeal to a number of audiences simultaneously, instantaneously almost. But there is a way in which her dress now appeals to, I want to say, the persons who are into that non-binary image of themselves as well.
Yes, which is also a very contemporary image.
Absolutely.
They kind of gender...
neutral, gender fluid.
Absolutely. And that's one of the questions I asked Coffee, what would you say about your dress? And her response to me at the time, which was quite fascinating, she said, in school I was regimented into wearing uniform every day. And once I got out of school, not having to wear a uniform, I just wore what I wanted to wear. Well, it turns out that what she wants to wear and what she chooses to wear is quite an androgynous look.
Yes.
And that becomes appealing to a number of young persons who are way ahead of the older generations in terms of the representations of themselves, you know?
So in terms of what Stacia was saying then, you contextualize that by saying you agree with her that that was then, but
that was then, but I'm saying coffee is an exception.
Even
now, I don't expect that tomorrow.
But what about our other guests who are saying, no, she isn't, because we're the same thing?
I will say to them, let's see in 5 years which other artist out of Jamaica is going to become as big as Coffee with the kind of accolades and success and acclaim based on that kind of dressing. Let's see.
Hold that thought. Let's go to break. Remember, our hashtag is TVJ All Angles, Women and Music. We'll soon come.